Hello and welcome back. Thank you for joining us for the CEO Leadership Suite of training programs. This program is going to be dealing with team building, and the lectures we're going to be covering will hit on each one of these subjects. So we'll be establishing a foundation, and I like to call that the vision, values, and voice. Now, with these in place, a solid foundation, we can build our leadership. So what does that involve? Well, we want to create a purpose, a team purpose, or an organizational purpose around which everyone can join, and that comes from a compelling vision. So we'll work on creating two visions: an individual professional vision statement for yourself and a vision statement for your team, your organization, your business, whatever that is, creating a vision statement for your team. We'll be working on values and understanding why that might be important. So, why does it matter what you value and what other people value? Well, what we're discovering certainly since the turn of this century, just in the last 10 to 15 years most particularly, is that when we understand what people value, we know what moves them, what they really care about. Now, what emotional intelligence and all the literature and studies that we've learned from in the last 10 to 15, 20 years is that when we understand what people care about, what they're committed to, we know what moves them. When we know what moves them, we know what motivates them. And today, leadership is very different from what it used to be. And so we'll be looking at how do we structure the motivations around our teams. But first of all, we have to discover not only our values, but other people's values. And voice, by that I mean, how do we extend our influence in an organization? Now, you might agree that a great leader is pretty inseparable from a great communicator, but there are many things that we don't know about communication that are very subtle but very powerful. And some of that comes from something we call coherence. We'll be talking about that. How do we not only speak and communicate clearly, concisely, and in a compelling way, but how do we do that in a coherent manner that it's completely authentic and that it inspires and moves people to action? So that's what we'll work on. Now, that reminds me that we'll also be working on the 8s, what I like to call the 8s, and that is communicate. How do we communicate effectively? How do we assist our teams to collaborate? As a CEO and as a leader, it's our responsibility to delegate and certainly motivate. Now, we'll also look at an assessments tool and learn ways to discover ours and other people's motives and personalities and how we align those in our organization to what? To what end? Well, to the vision that we worked on when we first start working in our first lecture. In addition to that, I have a methodology called the Rapid Results Roadmap. I will demonstrate how you can replicate this Rapid Results Roadmap, and the purpose is to create a scalable process. And it essentially is a process that speeds the work, the results, to market or to the end goal. So that's what the Rapid Results Roadmap does. It's a very specific methodology. Once you understand it and you use it, you practice it a few times, you'll begin to recognize just what a great fulcrum of change in your organization it can be. Now, we'll also work on emotionally engaging your teams. Again, what we're looking for there is what are the things that we can do, not just to get the most out of people, what can we do to get the best out of people? What we've also learned from studies and research and the many books that have been written and papers that have been given on emotional intelligence and motivation and high-performing teams is that when people have that sense of commitment and trust and emotional engagement with each other, with the jobs they have to do, and with the organization that they're associated with, that's when you get the best, and not just the most, and effective communication. It's one thing to be able to speak clearly. And often we think we have been very clear in our communication, only to learn from results that perhaps we have not been as clear and as concise as we thought we were. So what are some of the tips that we need to put into practice when we are leading teams, particularly in our meetings? So think about communication as an integral part of everything that we're going to be doing. And thank you so much. Remember, come and join us in our program. There's a 30-day guaranteed money back guarantee for you, so there's no risk. Come, you can learn more than you can probably put into practice this month, and it will only take, I think, about an hour or so in this program. It's intensive. It's substantive. It is filled with practices and based on real experience. So there's no theory. This is the kind of material that you can put to work for yourself. Please grab a pen and paper, because I will be driving through this material very quickly, very efficiently, and there will be slides, and the slides contain a lot of substance. So you'll want to make a note of that to get the most out of this program. Again, thank you so much. Come and join us. Click on the button below. Become a part of our community. We become a mastermind together. So participate. Put your comments in the discussion forum, and certainly come and join us. Thank you. See you on the other side.